Welcome to the Steve Reads His Post podcast. For those of you who are too busy or too lazy to actually read my post, I've taken on the huge effort of reading them to you. Enjoy. Microsoft continues inching into ISV Turf. Microsoft has always been a partner-led company, and we are committed to creating more opportunity for our partners across our businesses. And the ethos of being partner-led will be there in everything we do. Satya Nadella has said these things, but I'm wondering. Lip service. One of the major factors that brought me to transition my company from a Salesforce Consultant to a Microsoft partner in 2011 was the partner ecosystem story. After almost 10 years with Salesforce, during which their relationship with consultants was borderline antagonistic, I was fed up. Microsoft sounded like a breath of fresh air, but their partner ecosystem, particularly for ISVs, has been weighed on the balance and found wanting. No bigger advocate. You would be hard-pressed to find a bigger advocate for Microsoft's ISV ambitions than myself over recent years. Having drank the Koolaid in creating IP back in 2015, as we were all strongly encouraged to do, I had a vested interest in their effort. Many of my posts started out apologetic for my previous encouragement, but ended up positive and hopeful. But I am starting to lose hope that Microsoft will get it right. Was Salesforce better? There is no doubt that at the time I came over in 2011, Microsoft's business applications were complete shit compared to Salesforce. This was clearly demonstrated by their lack of market share. I took it on as a personal challenge to seek out anyone at Microsoft who would listen and press annoyingly for change. Over time, my incessant ranting made its way through the grapevines of Redmond, and I was invited to participate in many things. Multiple partner advisory councils, more private phone calls and in-person meetings with product managers and leaders than I can count, and an MVP designation. I can honestly say that today, Microsoft has an undeniably better product than Salesforce on every measure other than market share. Not alone. Before I start sounding like some kind of narcissist claiming to have single-handedly straightened up the Leaning Tower of Pisa, I was far from alone in this mission. While it is satisfying to see aspects of products or programs that I know I had a direct influence on, many others had similar influence over other critical aspects. Each of us troublemakers had a vested interest in our mutual success. My biggest disappointment. Almost every aspect of the ISV effort for business applications ISVs has been found wanting. Up until last year, the various aspects of the ISV efforts have been led by lower-level soldiers with little authority, no imagination, and no understanding of the ISV business. Hi, I'm Joe. I'm in charge of this important ISV facet. I just transferred from the MS Paint development team where I've been for the last 15 years. How can I help? Sorry, Joe, but you know less than my dog about this business. Not Goog's fault. After years of watching the revolving door of low-level soldiers step up to within 2 feet of their targets, raise their rifles, and miss, a general showed up. Stephen Googs Guggenheimer, a longtime veteran of Microsoft and self-described fixer, was brought in. I first met Googs at a Partner Advisory Council meeting with about 15 other ISV leaders. He struck me as a no-nonsense guy who planned to get things done. He also struck me as a guy who did not need or want our opinions. ISV Connect. Goog's brainchild was ISV Connect, a program developed mostly in the dark that basically seeks to take a share of ISV's revenue in exchange for some benefits. It's not optional, it is pay to play. The program was launched in lightning speed with agreements being sent out to ISVs almost immediately who were expected to sign or leave. The minimum tier is 10% of your revenue in exchange for some benefits from Microsoft that in my opinion are mostly worthless, at least for existing ISVs. If you opt into and are accepted into the 20% tier, there was an additional promise of co-sell business, meaning Microsoft's own sellers would pimp your solutions. At a recent Inspire session, Googs, as well as in a few interviews I've done with him, proclaimed the program has been wildly successful for ISVs. I've not met any of these ISVs, and Googs just announced his imminent retirement. Now what? Back to my post title. The Microsoft ISV landscape has become a risky place to be. In order to continue participating, we now have to find another 10 or 20% of margin. For those with paid resellers in particular, this is a huge challenge. If the program was producing 10 to 20% more businesses for ISVs, that would be one thing, but that's not what I'm experiencing, nor any of the many ISVs I have talked to. Another risk is Microsoft's continued encroachment into first-party vertical solutions. If you are not lucky enough to be acquired, like Field 1, Microsoft has caused problems for several ISVs as they entered their spaces. Project management and marketing are a couple of areas that Microsoft has moved to displace existing ISVs. I was also very suspicious of the entire accelerators program. Their recent announcement of an asset leasing accelerator sounds pretty damn vertical to me. So what's the play? What is the message we are getting from Microsoft? Come join our booming ISV ecosystem where we will take a share of your revenue in exchange for basically nothing, and if you are wildly successful in spite of that, we might just knock you off. I would like to believe that is not the intent, but as my ex-wife used to tell me, actions speak louder than words. Is there still reason for hope? Maybe for a lucky few, but I'm not seeing any for the masses at the moment. Let's see what Goog's successor can do.